And welcome to the first zoning meeting of the new year. Today is Thursday, January 4th, 2024. We are about to begin the Board of County Commissioners zoning hearing. So at this time, I would like to have the roll call done. Thank you.
Commissioner Barnett. Commissioner Baxter.
Here.
Commissioner Bernard.
Here.
Vice Mayor Marino.
Here.
Mayor Sachs.
Here.
Commissioner Weiss.
Here.
Commissioner Woodward.
Here.
Thank you.
And let the record note that Commissioner Barnett is out sick today. So we're going to go ahead and proceed with the opening prayer and Pledge of Allegiance done by the Vice Mayor Marino.
Welcome all to 2024. May we say blessings for those that are in harm's way. May we say blessings for those that are here that can't help themselves. May we say blessings for those around us right here helping us to do our job. And may we see blessings to all for a healthy and happy new year. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good. Okay. Notice. Have we given notice to everybody that as prescribed? I would think so. Yes. Very good. Thank you. And proof of publication. A motion, if I could have motion to receive and file for the proof of publication.
So move.
Very good. Do we have a second? Second. All those for it? Anybody opposed? See that it passes 6-0. And at this time, since it's a zoning hearing, if I could have everybody stand who is going to give testimony before this board to be sworn in by our attorney.
We have a card on item number 3, which is on consent.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Very good. Moving on. Are there any amendments to the agenda?
Yes, we have a few amendments to our agenda, more specifically for item number 3, SVCA 2023-00532, the Boca Raton Achievement Center. We're modifying Exhibit C2, specifically under Access number 2, to add some additional language. Engineering number 8, where we're adding and striking out language. Landscape Perimeter 1, which is being modified, and we're adding in a 2 and a 3.
Very good. If I could have
A motion to adopt the revisions.
okay, done by the Vice Mayor, and there's a second by Commissioner Weiss. Thank you. It's good to remember your name at this hour. Everybody for? Anybody opposed? See that it passes 6-0. All right. I believe, okay. All right, do we have any postponements, remands, or withdrawals on the agenda?
Mayor, may I be recognized?
Yes.
There's an additional vote to adopt the agenda.
Yes.
So
Do I-
move, Madam Mayor.
Very good. I have that by Commissioner Bernard, seconded by Commissioner Baxter. All those for it? Anybody opposed? See, it passes 6-0 as the motion to adopt the agenda at this time. And do we have any postponements,
No.
remands, or withdrawals from the agenda?
No postponements, remands, or withdrawals.
Very good. Moving on to the consent agenda. Does anybody wish to pull anything from the consent agenda at this time? Okay, I believe we have a card. Is that true, Commissioner Weiss?
We probably want to do disclosure, though.
Okay, we're going to do disclosure at this time, and we're going to start with Commissioner Baxter.
No disclosures at this time, Mayor.
Okay. Commissioner Bernard.
No disclosures, Madam Mayor.
All right, and Vice Mayor?
Just on item 3, just an email from Bradley Miller. And
Very
it's
good.
been filed with the clerk.
Very good. Commissioner Weiss?
Yes, I received on item number 2, received an email from the agent, and on item number 3, an email from Bradley Miller.
Very good. Commissioner Woodward?
Yes, I have a disclosure for item number 3, the Boca Raton Achievement Center. I had a meeting with Bradley Miller and Evelyn Falconer.
Very good. And the mayor, On consent agenda, item number 3, the Boca Raton Achievement Center. I had meetings and verbal communications with Bradley Miller, and my staff spoke with Evelyn Falconer. We've received and filed emails. Is that sufficient? Very good. All right, we're going to move forward then. Does anybody, again, wish to pull anything from the consent agenda? Seeing nobody, at this point, we're ready to proceed to accept the consent. We have a card. Shall we read the card before we vote on it? Might be a good idea.
Sorry.
Yes, Commissioner Baxter.
Thank you, Mayor. And forgive me, we went over this yesterday. Was the changing of the LDRAB board, okay, it is on regular agenda. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't on consent. Thank you.
Good. Okay, we're fine with that. So Commissioner Weiss is going to read the card.
Yeah, we have a person wishes to speak. Looks like it's Mina Dawood.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. My name is Mina Dawood on behalf of St. Mary Coptic Orthodox Church. They have authorized me to speak here today regarding Section 3.
There's a gift of a couple of seconds, sir.
There you go.
Okay, you can proceed, sir.
Yes, we're here on Matter 3 with the Boca Raton Achievement Center. So first of all, I would like to thank you all for your time today. And I want to start off by saying that the church is absolutely not opposed to the use of the property for the intended use of a school for special needs. Obviously, there's a great need for that in the community. I don't think anyone could sit here and argue against that. However, the church does have some concerns. The premise for this is because the county required the church to grant over their property to permit the adjacent property, which is under contract by the applicant, the school, to be purchased for the intended use as a school. We have concern with regard to the use of the access assessment, which runs across the south end of the church property along the entire length all the way to Lines Road. We had hoped and attempted to reach a private agreement with the petitioner. We've been unable to reach an agreement which we felt would be fair, appropriate, and equitable to not only the petitioner but to the church regarding the use of that easement area. And with respect to the rights of the parties to use that easement, as the Commission is well aware of, the covenant pertaining to the easement right now is a reference to the easement or easement agreement that has been recorded into the public records, which was required of the church when we originally got our development approvals. We have concerns over the size of these, the maintenance responsibilities, the traffic that may interfere with the operation of the church property, which may impose some safety concerns. Should we also access Lines Road from the easement area? And again, we support the property and what they're doing, but these concerns are very real. And we have made a good faith effort to attempt to negotiate. In fact, we've reached an agreement on several points, and I think we may be close to reaching some sort of agreement with the petitioner. What we would ask is that the Commissioner Board to consider deferring ruling on their petition request for a variance, allowing us some additional time to try to reach a fair and equitable agreement to both parties. We believe, it needs to be addressed, and we want to find something that would be both in the best interest of not only the school, but the church. We, of course, reserve all the rights to which we may have with regard to the proceeding, but again, we are hopeful to reach an agreement with the school and would simply ask for some additional time to try to resolve our concerns. And of course, if we are able to do so, we would fully advise the board of our agreement and waive any objection that we might have to the granting of the variance. I spoke with Bradley earlier as well, Mr. Miller. I gave him my cell phone number. The hope is to reach an agreement as soon as possible. We're just asking for no final ruling today. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Could you just stay at this podium for a minute? I believe that some of these issues were addressed by staff and by the attorney's office. So I'd like to hear from staff with regard to the use of the easement and the barrier that will be separating the two facilities, St. Mary's as well as the autism school. Who wishes to speak on this?
Good morning. We
Laura.
worked with the applicant to include additional buffering adjacent to this property and fencing and security for the property. As far as the improvements along the right-of-way, maybe Scott can explain that part.
Thank you. Good morning,
Hi,
Scott.
good morning. Scott Cantor, Director of Land Development. The improvements within the 40-foot easement will be, improvements for access to the school is fully within the 40-foot easement that the place of worship granted the school property. Let me think. That 40-foot easement is not where the place of worship currently accesses from. It's on the south 40 feet of the place of worship property. The maintenance obligation per the easement will be on the school and not the church.
I believe these changes were made rather recently. These amendments, these changes to that issue there.
Yeah, well, the change that I had made, condition number 8 in engineering, was actually more related to, the timing of the road work of Lyons compared to the school, where the school cannot start construction until the road work is totally complete for Lyons Road.
And that's good. And also I believe we granted an easement legally, and I'd like to have, and sir, if you could just listen to this, because this was done just recently, in regard to the applicant to St. Mary's Coptic. We know that you had some concerns about the easement road that's going to be used by both the church and the school, and I appreciate you coming forward today and your support of a school of autism there. So if we could hear from our attorney with regard to the rights on the easement between the two facilities, St. Mary's as well as the autism school. Sir, go ahead.
Sure. As Scott
To
Cantor.
identify, who are you?
Oh, Scott Stone, Assistant County Attorney.
Very good, thank you.
Yes, as Scott Cantor alluded to, there is an existing access pursuant to a declaration of access easement that was a previous condition of approval, which I believe the public speaker is also aware of. This easement is over the southern portion of the properties that connects to Lyons Road, I believe, and it is a perpetual non-exclusive easement for vehicular and pedestrian use for the school property.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Miller, do you wish to respond to any of these concerns? Because these were concerns, sir, and you can sit down. Oh, okay, thanks, Mr. Miller. Because we were concerned about those issues as well. And staff worked on it just, I think, last week. And I want to make sure, Mr. Miller, you were not available at the time that we were discussing it, but then you were available. So I just want to be sure that your client accepts these changes that have been already noted for the record and are part of this application.
Sure, thank you. Good morning, Bradley Miller from Urban Design Studio. Happy New Year to everyone. We have been in conversations, and I've been available throughout the whole thing here. Just to go back a little bit, so you don't think that I ignored the church. You'll recall me representing the Islamic school to the north. I started speaking with Mr. Fadi Anis, who came to that hearing in November, or maybe it was beginning of December. How time flies. And I was speaking with him in July and August and mentioned to him that there's another school coming. And then after the September 28th meeting here on the Islamic Center, we met, continued conversation, and we had a big block of time where it just went MIA on communication. We finally had some conversations between Christmas and New Year's, which I was involved with and available on those calls. There are some private discussions going on about some of the things, and we're in agreement to a few of those, one of them being the maintenance of the roadway that's already built in as a condition of approval. As far as the other conditions that staff is doing, I was throughout the day yesterday working with the language that we came up with, and we are in agreement with all the conditions as the staff report originally brought out, and then with the add delete. So we feel like we've had plenty of time to go through that, and any items that are left are more of on a private side than they are a zoning side.
Very good. Since you're going to be very close neighbors, very close, it is good that all these issues are ironed out. I know Mr. Miller, he works with us, and I know that any other private issues will be taken care of, and we will see to it that they are, so that it's amicable between the two places. Yes, sir.
And that's why we're just simply asking for nothing more than a slight extension, just so we can kind of hash out these issues before any final approval is made. We are willing and ready to continue negotiating and put this behind us as quickly as possible, so that way, you know, things can get moving forward.
Sure. I would suggest that we take a vote on it today with these conditions, and that after the vote, if you could please discuss this outside so that any other issues can be ironed out. I work with Mr. Miller, and I know the folks over at St. Mary's very well. And you can be assured that we will work together to iron out any other specific, because we added a number of issues here at the last week. And they've been very amenable to this, but I will make sure that the two neighbors have all these any other little issues will be ironed out. But thank you, and if you could just, after the vote, if you could just meet outside if there's any other issues, we're here. Okay? Thank you, Mr. Miller.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
just want to give kudos to Commissioner Woodward for actually even showing up today. I know they were talking yesterday, so hope you feel better. Thank you.
Okay. Vice Mayor Marino?
I was going to ask the clerk, we haven't had a motion yet, have we?
No.
Okay, thank you. I'll be happy to make the motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All right. All those for, anybody opposed? See it 6-0 that it passes. And you gentlemen can go outside and discuss the little issues. Thank you. Moving on. Okay. The consent agenda is there. Moving on to the regular agenda at this time. Let me see.
Yes, we have one item on the regular, number 5,
Isn't that nice? Yes.
on the back page of 4. And it is a request for permission to advertise. And this, in summary, is basically to allow a revision to our Unified Land Development Code to designate our zoning commission as our advisory board for modifications to the ULDC, and serve as the Land Development Regulation Commission, sunset the Land Development Review Advisory Board, and then revise and rename the application process for privately initiated amendments to streamline the ULDC practices.
Very good. Do we have any questions or comments? Yes? Commissioner Baxter, I think this is what you were looking for. Go right ahead.
I just want to thank staff because we all want to streamline processes and try to make things more efficient. I also, I was going over this, and I believe, I don't see the numbers on the back up here. How many current positions are on the LDRAB board?
I'm sorry, how many representatives?
Representatives, yeah.
There's 18.
Right, and I believe it was 11 of those are at large?
Yes.
And then 7 are appointed by us?
Yes.
So when we were meeting, one of the things that we had discussed, there's a couple reasons I don't think that the zoning should serve as LDRAB. Because we can have expertise who wouldn't be able to serve on zoning because they have positions within the county that would prevent them from participating. And I like expert opinions when we're deciding things. But I do think streamlining is good. I think at large seems to bog things down. So the middle ground I'm proposing, trying to find that compromise is that each of us still get an appointment, so 7 appointments, and let's, remove the at-large so that way we don't have, any kind of weight weighing it down. It's not adding staff time. Would that help you guys as far as streamlining your process instead of just dissolving the whole board?
It would be a significant difference if we just had one appointment per commissioner and managed it that way, because the at-large appointments are time-consuming to gather the appointments. It still would be an extra advisory board and an extra hearing a month, but it would be a step in the right direction.
I think I like small steps, not just dissolving the whole thing and see how that goes moving forward versus just getting rid of the whole thing, and still allowing some expert opinions to weigh in on our decisions. And that's where I am. So I would like to, I guess, hear from my fellow commissioners and see what you have to say before I make any motions.
Okay, very good, thank you. Commissioner Weiss.
Yeah, thank you. I'm ready to move forward and dissolve it. From our conversation, we're the only county that does this.
From our research, we found that mostly planning and zoning are together, and mostly they have a single board that does the planning items, the zoning items, and the ULDC items all together.
But we'll still say with two boards, separate,
Yes.
planning and zoning, and put ULDC with zoning.
Yes, we would still have planning, would have planning commission, and zoning would have zoning commission.
Yep, that works for me.
Vice Mayor Marino.
Thank you. Yes, a lot of boards have planning and zoning together combined. I think having our zoning and planning separated is great. I have spoken to an LDRAB member who felt that it was really redundant. So I would be happy to move forward and dissolve the board. I do appreciate Commissioner Baxter's viewpoint about having just appointees, but talking to my appointee, he felt it was a redundant board. So I would, if Commissioner Weiss, did you make the motion?
No, I did not.
Okay. So I will make the motion to, this is for permission to, is this?
To approve
Motion to
staff
advertise.
Okay. I will make that motion.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a second to the Vice Mayor's?
I
Commissioner
second.
Bernard.
I second, and I do have a statement.
Go ahead.
You know, if there's a way that we can tweak is it going to be part of the zoning or the planning board?
The function of the Land Development Review Commission would be part of the Zoning Commission, and what they would do is they would review ULDC amendments on land development regulations, and they would make a recommendation on a finding of consistency with the plan.
Okay. Yeah, I support limiting the LDRAB, and if there's any tweaks that needs to be made with the zoning board, then that we can do it from that perspective.
Okay, Commissioner Baxter.
Who are the people that would, I guess the concern is we have people in the community that serve on, I guess, the LDRAB board, so it goes away. And then there's no additional spots, I guess, on zoning. So dissolving this, they completely, if somebody wanted to that does business with the county and they served on the zoning, would they have to abstain from a bunch of votes then?
Currently the Zoning Commission, they review all of the applications, or the vast majority of the applications that you see every month on your agenda. And if they have for example, we have one architect that does a lot of work in the private sector. He does have to recuse himself on votes if there is a project that's specifically related to the items on the zoning agenda. As far as the ULDC changes part, I think I'd defer to Scott to explain how that part would work.
Sure. I think generally speaking, if somebody didn't have to recuse themselves on a regular zoning item, then that means they're even less likely to have to recuse themselves on a ULDC amendment, because ULDC amendments are generally applicable laws and rules, whereas zoning items are quasi-judicial specific actions affecting properties. That's why you have an applicant, and that's why you have recusals. But when you have ULDC amendments, almost always they're county initiated, and they're affecting large portions of the county and not specific areas that might create the type of conflicts which would require recusal. I'm not saying that there would never be recusals, but even less likely than they would be for zoning commission quasi-judicial items.
I'm good, thank you.
Does anybody else wish to speak on the issue before we proceed? I have one question, Ms. Amaro. How long has this commission been in existence here in the county?
They were initially the Citizens Task Force from I believe, the late 80s. And they were renamed to the Land Development Review Advisory Board sometime at the late 90s. And they were assigned this function of serving as the LDRC in 1989. That used to be something that the Board of County Commissioners served as, because this function of having a body reviewing land development regulations is optional. It could be the board, it could be the local planning agency, which in our case is the Planning Commission, or it could be any other advisory body. So they've served in this function since 1998.
Okay. And it is the staff's recommendation, after you've studied the issue, that it would be to streamline government and to streamline the issues that were previously part of the agenda for this commission, to do away with it, to sunset it at this time.
Yes, because the items we put on the agenda, we could instead put on the Zoning Commission agenda, and that would save us one mail out and one public hearing a month. Right now, we have a hearing every week. We're here with the Board of County Commissioners or the Zoning Commission or Development Review Officer or LDRAB, pretty much. So it would cut down, 25% of our hearings and mail-outs.
Okay, thank you. All right, I think we're ready for a vote. I think we have a motion already, and we have a second. So we're going to proceed to the vote. All those for it? Yes. Is there anybody opposed at this time? No? See that it passes unanimously 6-0. And thank you for that study. Anytime we can eliminate part of bureaucracy is a good thing. Thank you. All right, we are at the end of our regular agenda. Very nice. Start of a good year. At this time, we could have comments from the county attorney.
No comments.
And from our planning director.
No comments other than Happy New Year. Look forward to a fun 2024.
Thank you, sir. Zoning director.
No comments other than I'll second Brian's thing. Looking forward to 2024.
Very good. Thank you. The executive director.
I think that's me. Yes, just Happy New Year. Happy 2024.
It's a good comment. And deputy county administrator.
Well, I'm not the deputy county administrator, but
well, you look good.
I would like to wish everyone a Happy New Year.
Thank you very much. And now to the commissioners. I'm going to start with you, Commissioner Woodward. Do you have, just say things? Okay, very good. Commissioner Weiss.
Thank you. I'm asking for approval for an off-site proclamation declaring January 12, 2024 as Dr. Joaquin Garcia Day, Palm Beach County.
Very good. Everybody for it? Anybody opposed? Do we have a second? I do, by Vice Mayor Marino. Anybody opposed? See that it passes unanimously 6-0. Very good.
Thank you.
Commissioner Baxter.
Silly question, are we allowed to have one day represent two different people?
Why not? I think so. I think it'd be fine. It's a big county, exactly. Did you also have a
requesting an off-site proclamation honoring Vicki Corris of the South Florida Fair and declaring January 12th as Vicki Corris Day in honor of her distinguished career.
Very nice. Okay, we have 2 seconds, which is a new one for the new year. All those for it, anybody opposed? See that it passes 6-0. Commissioner Bernard, thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. Just want to welcome the new year to our residents and to all of our county staff. And also next week, we'll be going, most of us will be going to Tallahassee for Palm Beach County Day, and we look forward to the 60-day legislative session. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
All right. Thank you, Representative Bernard. And Vice Mayor Marino.
Just want to welcome everybody back. Hope you have a wonderful year. And I like the fact that we're having a speedy meeting.
Thank you. And the mayor has just 2 comments. One comment is I would like to have a motion to direct staff to initiate a ULDC amendment to change the approval process for Type 2 variances from the Zoning Commission approval to the Board of County Commissioners approval, and make any other amendments necessary to implement those changes.
So moved.
Okay, and I have a statement by our attorney. Go right
Just
ahead.
Procedurally, real quick, since the mayor's making a motion, if you could pass the
Oh, that's
gavel.
right. I can't make a motion, can I? Well, okay. Well, I didn't do that.
You can. You just have to
So-
pass the gavel if you'd like to.
I don't have a gavel, so I'll just bump my
Fist bump.
vice mayor
Pass the
here,
fist bump.
right? We do it the woman's way here. Okay, and thank you for making that motion. You're welcome. Is that okay? And we have a second. I'm sorry, I should shut up, shouldn't I? Go right ahead.
So do we have the motion? Yes. Do we have a second? Motion? Second by,
Motion by.
oh, I'm sorry, motion, second,
Oh, okay, gotcha.
motion,
Yeah,
second. All those in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That's why we have a lawyer on board here. And I have one other issue that has come to, and then we'll be done with the meeting. There are many folks who come to this county, and this is one of the few counties in Southeast Florida that has available and attractive land for development. And so we have code and ordinances that are in place for a reason, and we've had these for many, many years. But times have changed, and we have a code enforcement division that's trying to enforce codes and ordinances that have been in place for some of them over 20 years. So what I would like to do is I would like to have a workshop to consider methods that can be explored. Look, we need more tools in the toolbox to aid code enforcement, to take care of issues that have come up since we put these code and ordinances in place many, many years ago. And I'll give you a couple of examples without naming any specific facilities. But we have a daycare that is operating today with code violations, and it keeps operating. We also have a medical facility that continues to operate every day with code violations, and to them it's considered a cost of doing business. We need to look at other ways that we can enforce our codes and ordinances to keep up with the 21st century, to keep up with the folks who are coming in and moving into Palm Beach County and wanting to operate so that our staff has a way of enforcing these codes. So I'd like to have a discussion. I'd like to have a workshop. Take a look at it, see what we can do. So if this is a motion that if that would be okay with everybody, have a workshop, look at our code enforcement tools? Very good. Okay, thank you very much. And at this, without any further attention.
The attorney does have a comment.
Oh, goodness, I almost closed it, darn it. Okay,
just
sir.
Going back to that first motion that you made about the variances.
Yes, sir.
I'm wondering if staff might want a little clarification or if you have any comment on that.
No, the way our process is working now, we could do some research and come back with permission to advertise, or maybe a month before permission to advertise, just to touch base on the actual mechanics of how that would work. But I think we understand changing type 2 from zoning commission to BCC approval. There might be some other things we could consider at the same time, which we might bundle and come back to the board with under zoning director comments, maybe before permission, if that works.
Good. I want to thank the zoning Whitney and zoning and our planning and everybody else's staff who worked so hard this last year. This is a new year. We're ready to streamline government, but be able to enforce what government wants to do for the betterment of the people. So if anybody else wants to say anything, we're going to close this meeting, the first meeting of the new year. Thank you very much. Everybody stay safe. Let's have a good trip to Tallahassee. God bless.